series with Brit Justin Wilson still in the running. Then at 11, a second chance to catch the first day's play of the Snooker Grand Prix. And at 11:30, highlights of the Sony Ericsson WTA Tour semi-finals.
Pace laps here, we're getting ready for the Champ Car Grand Prix of Australia. And James, this is a wonderful racetrack, a real challenge for the drivers and for the engineers.
It certainly is. I mean, we've seen from the practice video, it's caught out some of the best guys in the series, number 1 and number 2 in the championship right now. Both had incidents in practice. The walls here are relentless. They can bite you, and it'll be interesting to see if these guys can rip off this many laps mistake-free.
And the number 3 guy in the championship as well, Justin Wilson, as we've said already, he will not even start the race. He just clipped one of those tyre stacks going through one of those very quick chicanes. It really wasn't a heavy impact, but it just ripped the steering wheel out of his hand and broke the scaffold in his right wrist, I believe it was. So Justin will not start this weekend. He is so disappointed.
Yeah, and how could you not be? I mean, he's come here. He was very quick. I think he was P3 in the first practice before that happened. We're right on board now with Ryan Briscoe. He'll be carrying a camera for us with the Eurosport team. He is making his debut here at home. He calls Sydney his home, so Australia, obviously his homeland, very excited to make his Champ Car debut here.
25-year-old Australian, and on board also with our pole sitter, Will Power. Just a sensational job he has done this weekend. He's born in Toowoomba, just a few miles away from Surfers Paradise. He's won here in the past in 4 of the Ford cars. He won a Honda Saloon car race here as well a few years ago, and he's also won on this racetrack in Formula 3. Track knowledge is a big key to his success.
I've always said that if you're going to either have to have track knowledge or car knowledge in a new event, I'd take track knowledge any day, and Will Power is using that to an absolute advantage. He has been on fire. I'm excited for this race. I can't imagine how the Australian fans are feeling right now.
It is going to be tremendous fun. Last year here, a record 316,000 fans came to this festival of speed over the 4-day period. This year, the crowd may be even bigger. We've had pretty good weather conditions all weekend, but it's quite different today. On Friday particularly, it was very warm and muggy. Yesterday, it was more humid even then and more overcast. The wind then was coming from the north, which is down the coastline. Now, it's much cooler today, expecting a high of 20 degrees centigrade, which is a lot cooler than it has been. Plus, the wind is completely shifting around to the southwest.
And this is going to change things. The cooler temperatures are going to help both the engines make a little bit more power, and the track probably a little bit grippier. When it gets too hot and too humid, the rubber on the track heats up, produces a bit of oil, and actually makes the car a bit slicker. So the wind's also going to play a factor, as you said, in gearing the cars, as more wind in one direction is going to affect how fast the car goes in a straight line.
Particularly in these long straightaways here at Surfers Paradise, there's three different places on the track where the cars reach over 180 miles an hour. So gearing is going to be very, very critical. Most of the guys are running 6-speed setups this weekend. It's going to be interesting. We're coming down now through the last couple of corners. We're coming into the final corner here, the Lexmark turn, getting ready for the green flag. And for the first time in his short Champ Car career, Will Power will lead the cars up to the pole. You can see they're lining up now in 2x2 formation. Big gap between behind the first 4 rows. But here we go. We're coming up for the green flag. It is Will Power on the front row. Sebastian Bourdais alongside him, and the yellow flag comes out. I'm not quite sure why there was. I think because the rest of the field haven't pulled up yet.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate. That was one of the tightest starts I've ever seen in a Champ Car race in about the last 10 years. The front 4 rows were pretty well sorted, nice and tight, really good formation, but unfortunately the second half of the grid was too far behind. The starter made the call to throw the yellow. Hopefully they can keep everything tight, but keep that same level of formation for the next time around.
There's an messaging system used by race control to communicate with the teams. During that, the final portion of that final pace lap, Tony Cotman and race control was imploring the guys on around about row 4 of the grid, car numbers 7 and 14, that's AJ Allmendinger and Dan Clark, to pack up behind those first 3 rows. They didn't do so, and that's why the start there was aborted.
Well, it's good that they've got that information. They've relayed it back to the starter, and he could make that call. So they're going to try and get everybody much more packed up this time around, try and go green. And we're going to have to watch out for this corner, because in Surfers Paradise, the first corner is known for incidents. usually a yellow flag on the first lap. It's just kind of a characteristic of this track. I know that all of these guys and girl are going to try their best to play it nice, play it safe, and get to the first corner because, as the old adage says, you cannot win in the first corner, but you certainly can lose it.
I think it's back till 1999 since we completed the first lap without a caution on this racetrack. As you said, James, there's always seems to be instance on that first corner, and it's brought out several drivers already this weekend. Already, as we've seen, including the champion-elect, can I even say, Sebastian Bourdais. He comes in here. What he needs to clinch the championship is 13 championship points. That's what you get for 9th place finish. That does not take into account any of the bonus points that are up for grabs for the other contenders this weekend. But as we've seen in qualifying both days, it was Will Power that set the pace. A stunning effort by the man who made his debut in the Champ class here 1 year ago, and a very impressive debut it was too. He was running well inside the top 10 until in the later stages of the race he was taken out by none other than his teammate Alex Tagliani.
Yes, well, it does happen, but Will has been on an absolute tear this weekend. I know that AJ's loving the fact he's been stealing these qualifying points from Sebastian. So here we go. They're coming around the last corner, try and form up one more time.
And it's a very fast start. I don't know whether they're going to get the green flag this time around. There is the green flag.
Well, that's Champ Car trying to make sure everybody does get through the first corner there. That's not the way any of these drivers wanted to see that start happen, but nice and single file. Everybody will make it through the first corner. That's a bit unfortunate. I really don't like to see that personally. That's just me, but regardless, we are green flag racing. Will Power leads it at his home event. He's got to be pretty excited right now.
Oh, I'll say, and this huge crowd cheering him on as well. They've got a full weekend of racing here at Surfers Paradise, as they always do here. It really is a wonderful racing event, a real celebration of motor racing, and it wasn't a very pretty start, but at least it was clean, and they have made it clean through the first 3-4 corners now, onto the Esplanade for the first time at full power, down here at about, literally full power. Will Power leading away through that very tricky chicane there at turn 5 and 6 through the Bardercard chicane.
On board now, Sebastian Bourdais. They come on the back, down to Jan Beekes.
Single foul restart. You guys were right on the money. The call came from Tony Kottman just moments before the start. They relayed it to each driver, said race call from the race director, single file restart, and obviously it was a good call by Tony Kottman. I mean, a lot of us would like to see him race side by side into turn number 1, but the great news, no carnage for the first time in a long time in the first chicane.
Yeah, thanks, John Beekes. And yeah, it's an interesting call, that one, isn't it? Do you go for safety or do you go for real racing? We're real racers up here, James, aren't we?
Devastating, to be honest. I mean, they should not fix the start like that. As far as I'm concerned, these guys are professionals. They're in the cars. They're in the moment. They should know how to get through the corner clean and safe on their own and be allowed to race. But like you said, we're racers. That's just my opinion.
And at least now we are racing, as we've said before. Every year since 1999, we've had a yellow at the end of the first lap. So I've got to take my hats off. And I think it's probably a smart call. We might not call us terribly smart, but maybe that was a smart move, because now the race is underway. Everybody's getting their tyres up to temperature. Most people seem to be starting on the red side of all Bridgestone tyres. And you can see we've got the reds and the blacks this weekend. And it's the first time we've actually come to Australia, and Bridgestone has brought the alternate tyre as well. It's a great benefit to this series. The black sidewall tyres are the slightly harder compound. The red sidewall tyres, the red stripes, a little bit quicker, but how will they last as this race progresses?
Yeah, we've definitely seen the last few events, the red tires, and when you use them in the race, as you do have to use one mandatory set of red sidewall Bridgestone tires in the race, when they were used had a big a big effect on the outcome of the race, as they wore very differently, and some drivers catching them in different stints, it really ruined their race. So it's interesting to see that most of the drivers, certainly everyone in the top 7 or 8 cars that we've seen, have started on the red sidewall Bridgestone tires. They're going to fall off a little bit quicker and wear a bit faster, but usually the first stint's a bit shorter. That could play into the hands of the teams. Pretty good call, I think, for most of the teams on this one.
And that we will see as the race unfolds. It's going to be a 59-lap race. We're expecting the first round of pit stops around about lap 19. Then it'll be lap 39, and then it'll be a run to the end from there. So really tight pit windows here. There's not much room for different strategic calls. So I think we're pretty much going to be seeing drivers probably trying to save a little bit of fuel, maybe stretch that fuel load a little bit longer before they come in and make their first stop. But on track there's almost 3 miles around, James. That's difficult to do.
It really is, and we're watching a good battle here between A.J. Allmendinger and Dan Clark as we now go back up to the front of the grid with Sebastian Bourdais. I mean, Will Power had pulled out a little bit of a gap, but Sebastian Bourdais seems to be closing in. They're kind of leaving Tracy a little bit right now, so these are certainly the two guys at the front. As we look back from Will Power right now to the Sebastian Bourdais chasing him down relentlessly.
And 3 laps in the books. Look at Sebastian Bourdais close up under braking there at the end of the Esplanade. After 2 laps, the quickest lap thus far has been set by our race leader Will Power at a 1:35.645, and that's about 4 seconds slower than the pole time set by Will Power. But Sebastian Bourdais only a couple of tenths of a lap slower, so it's very close in the early stages. Lap 4 here in Australia, the Champ Car Grand Prix of Australia, the 16th time we've raced here on the streets of Paradise, Surface Paradise, and 15 times every previous race has seen a different winner. An absolutely remarkable record, far and away a record in the Champ Car World Series, and just a remarkable statistic to go that far, that many years without a repeat winner.
Yeah, it's really unprecedented in this day and age of the sport, and it's great to see. That means that this track consistently produces great races and surprise results. I mean, I immediately think back to Mario Dominguez taking his first Champ Car victory in a rain-soaked and shortened race, but it always produces good racing, and if Will Power could come here and pull it off, he'll make it 16 in a row.
And how much of a star would he be in Australia? The only other 3 former winners in the field this weekend are car numbers 1, 2 and 3. Sebastian Bourdais, of course, won here last year. Bruno Junqueira, his teammate, won here the last time he was here. That was in 2004. Remember, he didn't race here last year, still recovering from that incident at Indianapolis. And the other former winner here was Paul Tracy, car number 3. He won way back in 1995 when he was also driving for Newman Haas Racing. So Newman Haas, they've got a great record here. Ron Deacons again in the pit lane.
I think he will be conservative. Keep in mind that if 3 cars fall out of this race, the championship is his even if he doesn't finish. So at the moment with a nice clean start, I expect that Sebastian will be conservative. But if there's a little bit of carnage or something happens and all of a sudden 3 drop out, then he knows he's good to go, and we'll see an aggressive Sebastian Bourdais.
So Sebastian Bourdais, thanks John Beaky. Sebastian Bourdais can take to play it relatively cool in the early stages perhaps, but I don't know whether that's true or not. He's certainly he's following it at a respectful distance at the moment, but this is a battle that we're all looking at. It's Oriol Serbia with A.J. Allmendinger, and A.J. wants pucks.
A.J. is hungry. He knows he's got to score points to keep his championship battle alive. He is all over the tail of that PKV car. He is trying to find a way by, and I think he's going to do it eventually.
Well, he's not just looking for points. He needs to win this motor race. There is no question about that. He must win this race in order to take this championship battle to the final hurdle in Mexico City in a few weeks' time. But first of all, he's in 7th place right now. His first target is there right in front of him. The PKV car, the Gulfstream car number 6 on Oriol Serbia. And after Serbia, he's then got to deal with Nelson Felipe, who made a super start from the 4th row of the grid. Ahead of Nelson Felipe is Bruno Junqueira. Ahead of Bruno Junqueira is Paul Tracy. And in front of them, the first 2, Will Power and Sebastian Bourdais. A little farther back, here's the second of the Team Australia cars. That is Alex Tagliani running right ahead there of that newly liveried car of the Rocket Sports team. That's Mario Dominguez with Pemex sponsorship on that car. He's running well. Here now is car number 10. It's great to see that car back in action. Cristiano D'Amato, of course, drove that car through the early part of the season, and then he was injured at Road America in a test a couple of months ago. Cristiano is now back in Brazil with his family, continuing his recuperation, and finally Eurosport put somebody else in that car, and it's a young Australian, very, very highly rated, is Ryan Briscoe, 25 years of age. As James said earlier, he's originally from Sydney, now lives in Indianapolis. He's driven all sorts of cars over the last few years, including in 2004 being a test driver for the Toyota Formula 1 team, and he is very, very highly rated.
He absolutely is. Ryan was a full-time IRL driver, had a really big wreck at the end of the 05 season, sat out most of this year, but he's had quite a busy year. Ryan has found himself in IRL cars, Grand Am cars, A1 GP cars, Australian V8 supercars, and now Champ cars all in one season. So really a master of all trades. He is quite a good driver, very highly rated, like you said. It's excellent to see that number 10 Eurosport car back on track. Excellent to see Ryan in it, and also excellent to see Western Union come back on that car for the last 2 races of the season.
Indeed, so it's just a terrible shame that his regular teammate, or what should be regular teammate, Justin Wilson, not driving the number 9 CDW car. As we said, he injured his wrist in practice on Friday, will not start this race, is questionable for Mexico City. Hopefully he'll come back for that race, but this team is certainly hoping to have 2 cars here this weekend. Certainly Ryan Briscoe, he's loving the opportunity to drive this Champ car, and now he's going to try to make the most of that opportunity. Look now, there is Nelson Louis really putting the pressure on Bruno Junqueira as it came through that very quick powers chicane on the back straight away.
Look at him, he is right on Bruno's gearbox. This kid is hungry. His biggest goal right now is to win his first Champ car race. He wants to take Scott Dixon's record of the youngest driver to win a Champ car race, and he is running out of opportunities to do it. Every day that goes by is one day further, or one day closer to the deadline to get that done. So he is absolutely pushing hard. You can see him on his Cosworth power to pass, the red light flashing in the back there. He wants by really bad. He's in the draft, getting the toe. He's going to look out. Oh, Bruno making that car pretty wide as they come into a very hairy section of racetrack. No way he can make that stick there. Good effort. Oh, wow. You saw how close he came there.
Wow. Nelson Philippe is mad right now. That was clearly a block by Bruno Junqueira. Where Bruno was over to the left-hand side of the racetrack, that's a right-hand corner. Generally, the racing line there is in the middle of the road. Bruno let his car wander across the left-hand side of the racetrack. In my opinion, that's a block. We'll have to see what the race director, Tony Cottman, says.
As per the Champ Car World Series rules, no blocking, and blocking is defined as deviation from the racing line. And as you said, Jem, he was definitely not on the traditional racing line there. So it's going to be interesting as we see AJ Allmendinger taking a look at Oriol Serbia.
And he's putting the pressure on Oriol Serbia, but Oriol is stepping up to the plate. Last time around, he set the second fastest lap of the race, just behind Will Power. So he is getting fast now. He's getting into the groove, but AJ clearly is quicker. He's being held up by Oriol Serbia, and he desperately wants to get past. In the meantime, the third place car, Ford Tracy, has now just set our fastest lap of the race so far. So very early stages here in Service Paradise. We've got 7 laps completed. We're on lap 8 out of 59, but the pace is hot.
All these guys are pushing to the absolute maximum. You think it was the last 10 laps of the race right now. So AJ absolutely hounding Oriol. He knows there's a bit of clear track in front, and look at how close he is. Rear wing of Oriol Serbia covering the front wing of AJ Allmendinger. Now he is on his Cosworth power to pass, getting the draft, trying to do the exact same move. He pulls out. Oriol gives him the room to do it, and AJ should get by. It's going to be close. Under the brakes, locking up, and he makes it through. Both cars come through cleanly.
That is great motivation. Oriol Serbia did absolutely everything he could and should do. Jon Beekes again down to the pit lane.
In regards to Oriol Serbia, you mentioned at the beginning of the show that he thought the car wasn't real consistent in the morning practice. Specifically, he said the car was harsh. And you could see it there on the approach to the chicane when he started to lock up the brakes. It seems as though the car is a bit more stiff, and Derek, the way there's crowns in the road here, it poses a problem.
There is Catherine Legge, who's apparently spun off. That is the Vulcan Tires turn at turn 8. She has apparently gone either into the escape route or whatever. She's clearly stalled the engine on that car. It's a local yellow only in turn 8 at the moment, so it won't affect the rest of the racetrack. Here though is and look at that, old AJ Allmendinger, who made that move on Oriol Serbia, and already, James, he's pulled out a substantial advantage inside just half a lap.
Yeah, it just shows how much faster AJ really was. And I mean, I really got to go back to that pass. That was such a clean pass. As you see Dan Clark getting a little bit loose off that corner. That corner that AJ made the pass into is such a hairy corner when you're going in all by yourself, going in too wide there. Really professional, really great racing from both those drivers.
Absolutely. That to me is what motor racing is all about. What Bruno Junqueira did, that was the easy way out. Yeah, you can say in traditional racing terms, there's Catherine Legge, a replay of her going down the escape road in turn 8. Well, actually not down. She tried to make the turn. That was her mistake. And then stalled the engine on that car. Let's just give a call to Catherine. You remember at Road America, she had that monumental crash at the Kink, the infamous Kink, just a few weeks ago. It was a horrific impact. She effectively just walked away from that. And in fact, less than a week later, she went and did a test with the BKB team at Sebring, and
She went faster than she's ever gone at Sebring before and stacked up very well against some other drivers who were there. So she showed that that wreck had no effect on her confidence and on her driving ability.
That's right, Ryan Briscoe was driving that same day for the Eurosport team, and Catherine was quicker. But this weekend, not looking good for Dan Clark. Welcome to our viewers on Eurosport and other channels around the world joining us for round 13 of the Champ Car World Series. There's a view of that very quick chicane there, the VB chicane, taken in about fourth gear. And clearly some sort of a problem halfway through the chicane there for Sebastian Bourdais. Don't know whether he just got the car sideways in that middle portion of the track, but after that he realised that he was clearly not up to speed and that Paul Tracy had a run on him.
As the pits are open.
Here we go.
It's going to come down to this now. Because they're pitting under safety car, all the cars are coming in at the same time. It is going to come down to the crews getting their cars out first. Sebastian Bourdais is in the pits. Newman Haas crew goes to work.
And I think this is going to consign everybody conceivably to a three-stop strategy. So we'll have to see. Whoa, look at that. Looked like contact there between Paul Tracy and was that Will Power?
And then something with AJ Allmendinger.
And also Ryan Briscoe as well with Mario Dominguez. So
mayhem. There's a fire. There's a fire in the Forsyth pit. You cannot see it. It burns clear, but they are splashing water. Other teams, Newman Haas there.
We believe that was Paul Tracy's car. A disaster for PT. He looks like a good stop. There's you can see that the methanol fuel, it doesn't have anything like as high a flash point as does petrol, so it doesn't catch fire. But clearly he's pulled away there with the fuel nozzle attached, and methanol is just spewing out there on the pit lane. The bad news is you can't see the fire. The good news is you can extinguish a methanol fire with just water. Here's Paul Tracy's third car back in line.
It's AJ. You can see the flame explode and it goes orange very briefly, and the hose is still attached to AJ's car as he pulls away. So it's still burning right now. You cannot see it.
That was an absolute disaster for the Forsyth Championship Racing team. Here's another viewpoint. We can see
Paul pulls out here. That's Paul. As he does hit. He does hit Will Power. Oh no! Devastating contact between those two cars. You can see AJ there with the hose still attached. All sorts of mayhem in the first pit stops here in Surfers Paradise.
It was a massively quick stop there by Paul Tracy, but all sorts of incidents again. Here is Sebastian Bourdais in the background. Look at this. Paul Tracy veers towards Bourdais, out of control, having already made contact with Will Power. So and also a slow pit stop also for Bruno Junqueira. Bruno is there is the fuel nozzle still sort of attached to the car number 7 of AJ Allmendinger. So that is an absolute disaster for his championship aspirations.
At this point, it's useless for AJ. His fuel rig is destroyed. I don't believe we're going to see a replay now here. PT coming out. Their contact there definitely damaged to Will's front wing.
Well, I don't know what PT was doing there, because clearly you could quite see from on board with Will Power. Will was where he should have been. He was in the fast lane. There are 3 lanes here coming down the pit lane at Surfers Paradise. It's the pit lane itself, then there's the speed up lane, and then the fast lane, if you call it, on the outside, where of course you are limited to the 50-mile-an-hour speed limit that is a part of this championship. But clearly Paul Tracy there, you are supposed to, when you exit your pit, you're supposed to go first of all to the intermediate lane, and then, if it's clear, to the outside lane. Paul Tracy clearly did not do that.
I think part of the issue was with that particular stop, when everybody pits at the same time, Paul had AJ right in front of him, and these are big, long cars, and you have to do quite a balancing act to get around the crew in front of you. There's not a lot of room to maneuver, so Paul will have really had to have fishtailed that car to get it to come around, and that probably just caused it to snap out. As we see Paul back in the pits now, doing another tire change. They're probably inspecting to see if there's any damage from that contact with Will Power. They're hanging around the right rear of the car, and AJ also back in. His day, I can't imagine him continuing with his fuel rig destroyed. I don't know if they have a spare or not. They must, because AJ's staying in the car, tires are going on, black sidewall Bridgestone's going on, but they're sitting there idle for a moment.
No penalties we hear.
Thumbs up.
So yeah, thumbs up there. So that's certainly good news. Apparently no other damage to the car. And AJ now, there's no rush here. They're going to have a good look over that car. Uh-oh, no. clearly some sort of an additional problem there for AJ Allmendinger. Perhaps he couldn't get it into gear. Maybe he's got a clutch problem. Maybe that's why he pulled out. This is speculation. I guess I shouldn't be speculating, but clearly Jon Beekes is that right down there in the.
What happened was they waved him out, and just as Derek surmised, it just stalled. He tried to get into the gear, it stalled. It didn't appear as though they were giving him a penalty. They came in, changed the tire, doused the car with water. They're now trying to refire the car. I can tell you that the fueler, Chris Muir, was attended to by the Champ Car medical team. He walked on his own power back to the hospital. He was the one crew member that was doused with the water. He, as I said, walked on his own power back to the medical center, being checked out as we speak.
And that's good, as you can see him getting the water on top of his head there. Chris Muir, affectionately known as Scotty. He is of Scottish descent, runs with one of the thickest accents I've ever heard, as you see everybody spraying water now all over the pit wall as the fuel continues to pour out of that hose. But very glad to hear that Scotty's all right, and that's always a scary situation.
That is a very scary situation. So now let's reset the order for you. Several drivers did not come onto pit lane. Those would be Jan Heylen and, Charles Walsman, who had already pitted, of course, for the MyJack Conquest Racing team. So Jan Heylen, I believe, is the only driver not yet to have made a pit stop. He drives the Muirman's car for Dale Coyne Racing. The car number 11 will lead the field back up to the green flag, we believe, this time around. So Walsman in second place. Will Power, we've got to hope there's no damage to Will Power's car. He is still running in third. Bourdais is now fourth, Tracy fifth, then Philippe, Servia, Tagliani, Ryan Briscoe and Mario Dominguez round out the top 10. Then Andrew Ranger, Antonio Pizzonia back for the Rocket Sports team this weekend. Behind Pizzonia is Junqueira, who also, we didn't see why, made a poor start. And then behind Bruno Junqueira, Andreas Wirth making his debut, AJ Allmendinger and Catherine Legge. So the green flag is out again. And car number 11, Jan Heylen, leads the field, not for the first time in his career. He also led in the very first race of the season, his Champ Car debut at Long Beach. He did a very good job there. And Jan Heylen, periodically this season, has had some very strong runs, has he not, James?
He really has. I mean, it's there have been certain times when the Dale Coyne cars have just been on, and Mario Dominguez, I remember, had quite a few good runs with his stint in that team, and now Jan's found himself in a really good position leading this field. Of course, he is yet to stop, but still, it's good experience for him nonetheless.
It certainly is. And there is Catherine Legge. She is also continuing now. She is she on the tail end of the lead lap? Trying to look at the scoring. Our scoring is a bit messed up here, but there is a look at the Forsyth Racing pit, and they're scrambling around trying to find out what they can do to get AJ back in the fray. They've lost all that methanol fuel. Not sure what the rule is. If it's all leaked out, can you get some from somewhere else? I don't think you can, actually.
It's tough because the way Champ Car works is their fueling rigs are they're gravity fueling rigs. They're not pumps, and so essentially, as the race wears on and you use more fuel, it comes out at a slower rate, and so it's really, unless they can get an exact number to Champ Car on how many liters of fuel they had in that tank at the time of the pit stop, and I don't know if that's possible. We'll have to see what the ruling is on that.
Every car and team is allocated a certain amount of methanol fuel going into the race based upon a minimum fuel consumption of 1.85 miles to the gallon. So the race is 59 laps times almost 3 miles times 1.8 miles per gallon. That's how many gallons of methanol you get to last you through the race. So we have to see what's going to happen there. It's leaked out. Is it AJ's fault? Who knows? So we'll have to see how that one develops. But certainly a great restart there by Jan Heylen, and he turns a very quick opening lap, pulls away a little bit from Charles Walsman, and here we are on board with Will Power, still holding down third place ahead of Sebastian Bourdais. Nelson Philippe now is running in fifth, and Paul Tracy has slipped all the way to 13th. He didn't see what happened to PT.
Well, he did come in for that extra stop at the same time AJ did after the initial stop. So he essentially has one extra pit stop. He had to come in and check the right rear of that car to see if any damage had incurred from the contact with Will Power. But both cars are back on track, seem to be running well as Jan Heylen leads the field.
So we have Racing Yardy, we're back up to green flag racing. There is Will Power, and it seems that his car is running well. He's again pulled out a little bit over Sebastian Bourdais, beginning to close in now on his fellow rookie Charles Walsman.
There must have been a moment there. Oh, we see Ryan Briscoe. He's spun around. He is into a wall, and Catherine Legg is involved. I believe that's corner 8, the same place Catherine went off earlier. I could be wrong on the corner, but very tragic for Briscoe to be in the wall right now. Catherine's car is still appear to be running. She may have stalled it now as she tried to reverse. This will bring out another caution, I imagine. Ryan's car seems to be dug in there pretty well. They're pushing Catherine's car. She must have stalled the motor now. Yes, she has. The rear wheels are up in the air. They're going to try and get that car started again. It'll be the second time now that's happened for Catherine, and I believe in the same corner. So they're going to be there should be a full course caution. Hasn't come out yet. Maybe they're going to try and keep it local.
Well, it is a long racetrack here. There goes AJ. So back in the fray, they're going to try, if they can, to get this mess cleared up just under local yellows. At least, they've got about 100 seconds per lap here is what it takes to do a lap of this almost 3-mile racetrack. So they have a reasonable amount of time before they need to throw the full course caution.
And they seem to be getting the job done. I mean, Ryan's car is almost completely clear of the track, and there is no word from race control that there's going to be a full course caution. So that is going to leave Jan Halen in front of Charles Wolfsman, leading this race with Will Power in third, essentially in second as Jan Halen has yet to pit. Charles, of course, made that early pit stop and was very helped out by that caution period. So they are going to stick with a local yellow as you see the leader come through now. I think Halen may have pitted because he seems to be out of the picture. Our timing screen is not letting us know that right now. Oh no, he's still up there. So Charles Wolfsman running a very good second. Will Power doesn't seem to be catching him by too much. Hopefully there is no damage on that number 5 Team Aussie Vineyards car from that contact with PT in the pits. I guarantee you his heart jumped into his throat for a moment there, Jem, as that happened.
Yeah, 19 laps now completed by our race leader Jan Halen. So he's going to be. You can do it. We said earlier on you can do about 19 laps. Oh no,
AJ Allmendinger in the wall.
Yep, clearly damage there to the right front wheel on car number 7. It's all gone sour for AJ Allmendinger. He was in quite a bit of pressure really this weekend, or not, depending on where you look at it. He had to win the race in order to keep his championship aspirations alive, and nothing has gone well for him. He's had a couple of incidents during the weekend. Yesterday in final qualifying, there's Mario Dominguez diving down to the inside of Ryan Briscoe, which sends the car number 11, the Western Union car, leaves him with really nowhere to go down there at turn 8. Again, a replay, what's down the inside. Well, you couldn't see him, but clearly Ryan Briscoe saw him. Heads up there to Ryan for seeing at least Mario Dominguez diving down the inside. There is Ryan Briscoe, so he has got going again. I don't know whether he's lost a lap or not.
Back underway.
He has, yes.
Well, he would have, yeah, because he was sitting there as Charles came by, because it was. And here's a replay of AJ gets a little bit loose, and as he overcorrects it, just clips the wall. Just a mistake on AJ's part, trying to catch back up to the field.
Clearly, just trying too hard there is AJ. Coming down into, I believe that's turn 3 at the southern end of the racetrack. As you said, he got the car sideways, overcorrected, and then when the front wheels bit again, it took him right-handed into that wall, that unforgiving concrete wall down there. Clearly, I think, terminal damage to car number 7 at the end of AJ Allmendinger's championship aspirations. Justin Wilson, he was the only guy with a minute mathematical chance to beat Sebastian Bourdais to the championship coming into this weekend. He was taken care of on Friday when he injured himself, a broken wrist for Justin Wilson, despite the fact he didn't really hit the wall. All he did was clip one of those tyre barriers on the apexes of one of these turns. That was enough to rip the steering wheel out of his hands and break his wrist. A really freaky accident. But now, hail the champion Sebastian Bourdais. There he is. He becomes the first man in almost 60 years to win 3 consecutive Champ Car World Series titles. A remarkable feat by this very, very talented 26-year-old Frenchman, 27-year-old Frenchman.
It certainly is quite an accomplishment, and it really could have happened. I don't think there's a guy on the grid who deserves it more than Sebastian Bourdais. He came onto the Champ Car scene in 2003, hit the ground running, getting the pole in his very first race, and he's been an absolute force to be reckoned with ever since. So he's one of the most methodical and professional drivers out there. And regardless of what you think of him, on track, off track, he's been phenomenal.
We just saw a clip there of AJ Allmendinger getting around Bruno Junqueira, then he hit the wall.
World Rally title. The Frenchman is nursing a broken arm at home, while Marcus Gronholm and Ford is overtaking Citroën. Now Loeb's lead over Gronholm is down to 25 points. There are still 3 rallies to go, but when will he be fit to race again? the agony and the ecstasy of the World Rally Championship. The Rally of Australia, every night from Thursday at 10 on British Eurosport.
Take control of the WRC with BF Goodrich Tyres.
Share all the excitement of the WRC with the lubricants Total Quartz.
To go now here in the Champ Car Grand Prix of Australia. Round 13 of Bridgestone presents the Champ Car World Series powered by Ford. On board here with Will Power, takes off one of the tear-offs of his visor, give himself a better view. He's only got that one car ahead of him. Will Power, our pole sitter, our early race leader, survived apparently that contretemps in the pit lane with Paul Tracy, and now he's going to try and get past the race leader, who is Charles Waltzman.
Charles Waltzman slowing up the field to try and get a good restart. That was very slow, bit of a tricky tactic there, but I think it's going to be legitimate. He gets a phenomenal run off that last corner after bunching up the field, and the green flag should come out for him. And yes, we are under green flag conditions now. Charles Waltzman leads the field by a big margin over Will Power. Now Charles coming off both his best qualifying result and his best race finish result in the last round of Road America. The kid's really coming on to form at the end of the season here.
He certainly is 27 years old from Lelystad in the Netherlands. And Jan Beekers again is down on the pit lane. We'll try and get to him in just a couple of minutes. In the meantime, Charles Waltzman leads the Champ Car Grand Prix of Australia.
And boy, Derek, I agree with you. I think we're going to see a new and renewed Sebastian Bourdais, aggressive. Now he knows he has the championship in the bag. And to answer your question, Will Power is injured as far as the car. The piece that you saw fly off on pit road was a piece of carbon from what they call the flugelhorn or tire wing. So the car is drivable, but lost a little bit of downforce. Now you have a somewhat limping Will Power and a very aggressive Sebastian Bourdais.
Thanks, John Beekers. So on board with Sebastian Bourdais, who, as he said, absolutely nothing to lose now. Look at him coming through this very, very quick chicane, the VB chicane on the back straightaway with the ocean there on the right-hand side, just over the beach. Remarkable facility. This is a great place to go motor racing. And you can see Will Power's car there is a little bit twitchy. Still not probably yet got those Bridgestone Potenta tires completely up to working temperature.
Now with these black sidewall Bridgestones, which are a little bit harder compound, it does take a little bit longer for the temperature to get up. As we ride back on board with Andrew Ranger in this helmet cam, and just look from the driver's perspective how bumpy this track is. See how the wheel is being jarred in his hands, and now we're in a straight line. As you can see up through the gears, the lights going towards the center of the steering wheel, shift lights. When they get to the middle, you pull the gear. He's in 7th now, heading into the first corner. So very neat camera view there, kind of give everybody a perspective of what the driver's seeing, and it's not much out of that cockpit. They sit so low.
And look at the crowd though on the every inch of this racetrack. Crowds lining it 3-4 deep. Just a phenomenal atmosphere as ever here in Surfers Paradise. We've been coming here since 1991. Initially, there was quite a bit of local opposition to this race because where the race is held, it's kind of a narrow strip of land between an inland waterway and the ocean, and the main thoroughfare, we use up half of it for this racetrack, Fernley Avenue. Half of it is taken up by the racetrack, so it means very limited access for the residents. And initially, as I said, a lot of local opposition, but now everybody loves it. It brings in a massive amount of money for the local economy. It is a huge event. Draws, as we've said already, over 300,000 people here over the weekend, and a lot of them stay on during the week, or for another week or two they make a vacation out of it. Nelson Philippe, for example, he's been down here for 10 days already, spent a lot of time with his family on the Great Barrier Reef, went out in the bush as well. There's a lot to do in this part of the world. It is a great tourist destination, and what better to end up with what always is a great and unpredictable motor race.
It really is. It's like you say, normally these are 3-day festivals of speed, but here in Australia it truly is a week-long celebration. Everybody comes out nice and early. The streets are shut down. There's parties, there's beach volleyball, there's girls, there's booze, what more do you want? I mean, it's really just the perfect event, I think. There's something for everybody here in Australia as we just ride now on board with the McDonald's car, the champion of the year following Will Power. 4. We got Jan Pikus again down in the pit lane.
We've got, 25 laps completed out of 59, and Jan Pikus once again is on the pit lane.
We talk about doctors. I just spoke with the doctors at the Champ Car Medical Center, and Chris Muir, the fueler for AJ Allmendinger, is fine. He's walking. He's out. He's bummed that he doesn't get to do more refueling for AJ Allmendinger, but otherwise, A-okay.
That is certainly great news there from the Champ Car Medical Center. The doctors are all here. Dr. Chris Bindersky, Rick Timms. They do just a phenomenal job with looking after not only the drivers, but all the crew members, media, anybody, fans even, whoever it is, they look after them. And great to see that Scotty is okay. And I'm sure he'll be back and can't wait to get back in action in Australia.
Man, if I know Chris at all, I guarantee you he's already got his BB gun out shooting people again. One thing he does have is a great sense of humor. You will not get that guy down. Obviously disappointed that his driver's out of the race and he won't get to do any more work himself today, but that just proves it. I mean, he's just been caught on fire, and he wants nothing more than being back out there in pit lane doing it all over again. So really glad to hear that Chris is all right, and he'll be back in action before you know it.
We'll look forward to seeing you in a few weeks' time in Mexico City, Chris. But in the meantime, you can see we're on board with our third place car of our new champion, or our successfully defended champion for the second year in a row, making it a 3-time champion, Sebastian Bourdais. Closing there under braking on Will Power. Just ahead of Will Power still is Charles Waltzman, and Waltzman, he's gone quicker each of his last 2 laps. He's a 36.1 the previous lap, 35.8 this time around, so at least he's getting now closer to the pace of the front runners. He's still only 16th on the overall ranking, quicker only than Andreas Wirth, but his time, Charles Waltzman, 135.8, the fastest lap of the race, 134.3, set by AJ Allmendinger. Sebastian Bourdais just a few ticks of a second slower. And wow, here's a lot of battling going around. That is Jan Hayland on the right-hand side, Ryan Briscoe diving down the inside, and ahead of them both there is Catherine Legg right in the mix as well. So you can see there's Ryan diving down to the inside, and Jan Hayland wisely gives him a little bit of room, and Mario Dominguez also looking to get through there as well. That was a battle for about 11th, 12th, 13th and 14th places.
I know you're trying to run a race right now, but you guys are the champs.
Yeah, good thing, huh? No, really pleased. We obviously had a great year. Heck of a start to the year with the 4 straight, and just really proud of the Newman Haas McDonald's team. I mean, 3 straight, that's pretty darn impressive. So I'm pleased about that, but now I want to win this race, and we can take some chances because, well, all we got to do is win. So that's what we're going to do.
Had to be a huge sigh of relief, though, as soon as you realized it was in the bag.
Yeah, absolutely. And it makes this race fun now, because it was just going to be stressful before, but now we can go racing. So, yeah, we're all really pleased.
All right, a Newman Haas team not under stress sounds like a fast combination.
Yeah, indeed, and nothing at all for Newman Haas Racing or Craig Hampson to grumble about at this early stages of the motor race. And good to see they're good and upbeat. And looks to me, they're just watching that in-car camera and the viewpoint coming down the front straightaway past the pits. With Sebastian Bourdais, his car looks really quick down there. I think it's just a matter of time before he makes his move. I fancy he might make a move down there into that Lexmark chicane to a number 1.
Well, he's certainly not far off at this point. He's only about 2 car lengths behind Will at this time. He's running consistently about 0.2 a lap faster, and he's actually got a great run right now, and he's looking at it and can't quite get it done there, but he's starting to apply the pressure, and we're going to see how Will can cope with that.
Now, we heard his race engineer Craig Hampson say that he's going to take a few risks now, but it would be a big risk to take out the local favourite, Will Power. I don't think the local fans would be too happy about that.
Yeah, there's a good chance Sebastian wouldn't make it out of the country alive. So, I mean, people are going to be pretty respectful of that. Will is probably the most feared guy on track right now, for the sole reason that if you get involved with him, you probably won't make it out of Australia in one piece. PT's already done it, and we have heard that it did affect Will's car. Something did break off it, so I don't know. If I'd be Paul, I'd be tiptoeing around pretty carefully in this race ends.
Yeah, absolutely right. But here we are now. We've 27 laps now completed, almost halfway through. 32 laps to go. 31 as they flash across the time line here one more time. There's a fabulous view of this whole setting here in Surfers Paradise. The ocean there right behind, and just a wonderful place to go motor racing and to do anything in actual fact. Here is this battler. Charles Waltzman still leading. Here he gets quicker again that time around, 135.3. So his best lap now is within 1 second of Sebastian Bourdais and AJ Allmendinger, the 2 championship pace pace setters. So Charles is really stepping up the pace now. But look at Will Power down to the inside, goes Bourdais.
And there's contact. They said he was going to take some chances. Bourdais off into the runoff. He spins the car around, keeps it running. There was definitely contact with Will Power, though. We'll have to see if his car's got any damage. Look at how this changed the race. Sebastian exits now behind Paul Tracy, who is currently in the 9th position, so he should be in 10th. And there is Will Power out of the... Oh, no, the engine's still running, but it doesn't look like he'll be getting anywhere in a hurry, Jeb.
What a disaster, if that is, assuming that is Will Power. It looked like it was a big risk here, Will Power. It looked like Sebastian Bourdais took a big risk. You could see all the cement dry on the off the racing line going into turn 3, down the inside of the corner. You could see all that white brake dust, and as soon as Bourdais got into it, he locked up the brakes and slid straight off in front of, right across the nose of Will Power, and clearly there was a contact between those two, and just one more corner has Will made it before he's pulled off there to the side of the racetrack.
It's devastating. I mean, you see the replay now.
Here we go, down into turn 3. Look at Sebastian Bourdais, locks up that right front, and clearly some pretty hefty contact there with the left front wheel of Will Power.
He didn't, I mean, Sebastian had his wheel locked up for 200 feet before they even got to the corner. That was, you know, in all honesty, I feel like that was something that Sebastian pulled out to kind of to psych him out, and he wasn't actually going for the pass, got into that quick dry and locked the wheel and really had nowhere to go. I mean, if that was a genuine passing attempt, that was pretty sad and a very bad call on Sebastian's part. It's essentially eliminated both these cars now. Local hero Will Power, after running so strong, out of the race at his home event. Devastating for him.
Yeah, after an absolutely brilliant show that Will Power has put on this afternoon. There is Will Power, so he's got the car back under speed.
But you can see, look at the steering wheel. He is turning about 45 degrees to the left to keep the car in a straight line. There is definitely front end damage to the left front of that car. The wing seems to be slightly dislodged, so it's he'll come in for a pit stop, see if there's anything they can do, but doubting he can get it done. Will Power's day is done here in Surfers Paradise.
So that is just apparently a huge shame for Will Power. It's just done a stellar job all weekend, fastest in both days of qualifying. Quite an amazing effort he put in, and you know, it was looking like it was going to be his weekend on Friday and on Saturday. He set the fastest lap of the session, and then moments later out came the red flag to bring the session to a premature close. But he's been quick all weekend. He was a little bit lucky, certainly in qualifying. It seemed like everything was going his way, and even in the early stages of the race, he had that contact with Paul Tracy on pit lane. Yes, there was a little bit of damage, but apparently not too much, but now it seems that his day is going to be done. And listen to the reception and look at the fans there in the Lexmark hill there at the far end of the north end of the racetrack. They're giving them a huge reception. Staying out.
No, the pits are open. He'll be pulling in now. But, Jeremy, were we not just saying how you can't make a move that's not going to work on Will Power in Australia? Sebastian just clearly isn't listening, and his head's on the chopping block. I would not... You know what? He may be champion. I don't know if I'd want to be Sebastian Bourdais right now. And on top of that...
Yeah, the note from Race Control here, Race Control Communication, review, incident car 5, car 1. That would be car 5, Will Power, car 1, Sebastian Bourdais. It is under review in the steward's office right now. What sort of penalty they might hand out, hard to say. Probably be some sort of a drive-through penalty, probably. So, but with the pace that Newman has shown all season long, that might not be much of a handicap even now. He's shown that in 8th place is Sebastian Bourdais, and the crew's going to have a good close look at that and see if maybe they can get him out in the fray. But he's certainly going to lose a lot of time. And great onboard camera,
helmet cam there, and it's.
I don't know who that is. Well, it's Brendan. I think probably Brendan Cleve, who's the crew chief on that car. Kiwi is Brendan. Been around this team a long time. Just a great guy. He was a race engineer for Alex Sagliani last year. He really does carry all sorts of different responsibilities on this team. He's a fantastic mechanic, and he's a great guy all around. In fact, but there goes Will Power back into the motor race just to see, I think, how bad the damage. Look at the toe in on that left front wheel. It's you can see the angle of that wheel compared to perpendicular is well out of true. Here's Bourdais in for a pit stop.
You know, I feel like they may have tried and send Will out to avoid going a lap down, but they had already missed it by that point, so I'm not sure if that was just a botched call or what, but Sebastian in for a pretty routine stop there as he pulls back out. We'll have to see what race control calls on that incident. Like I said, he may now be 3-time consecutive champion, but I would not want to have the entire country of Australia against me. You couldn't pay me to be Sebastian Bourdais right now as he tries to catch back up to the field. Just again, devastating as runner caution again with 29 laps to go in the race. Charles Wolfsman is still your leader with Oriol Servia now up to second, Nelson Philippe third, Alex Tagliani fourth, and Andrew Ranger fifth. Obviously with the incidents up ahead as we take a look at another replay. No, cut away from that one. So.
It was amazing. I mean, normally if you lock up the brakes, the first thing you do is actually lift off the brakes and then jump on them again, because if a wheel is locked up, it's not giving it any retardation at all. So the normal thing is to lift off the brakes momentarily, get on the brakes again, and then you're going to slow the car down. The car down. When the wheels are still going around, that's when they're actually retarding the car.
Well, there was some sort of there was some sort of retardation going on there, Jim. Let me tell you. But what was interesting about that particular one is it was his outside front. It was the right front wheel that was locked, heading into a left-hand corner. Normally, it'd be the inside wheel that locked. So it makes me think that maybe he did get on some oil dry or something. Either way, big mistake. We're going to try and get down to Jan Beekes in the pit lane. He might have some more information on that.
And I'm with Derek Walker, and you've had a chance to see the replays quite a few times. Your take on what happened down there, Derek?
Well, Sebastian tried to make a pass and couldn't make the pass, and it was a collision from that point on. Bit of a bonehead move at this stage of the race to try and overtake there. It just ruined the whole bloody day for both of us. Well, at least for us anyway. So I don't know what he was thinking of, but he couldn't make the corner, so it was a pass that couldn't be made there.
What's the case of the car? You can see they tried to bend the steering arm back. Are you going to bring them back to pit road and replace it?
Well, we can try and fix the steering link, but the rack is probably broke.
Thank you, Derek. That's bad news. When your steering rack is broken, that could well be the end of the day for Will Power.
It probably will be the end of the day for Will Power. What a shame for him. He's just done everything right this weekend as Will Power. This is the 1-year anniversary of his Champ Car debut here at Surfers Paradise. He made the start for Team Australia 1 year ago. So since then now, Will Power, this is of course his 15th Champ Car start. It was his first pole position, and his best finish prior to this weekend was 4th in Denver. He qualified 5th in Milwaukee earlier this season, and he's just getting better and better and better as well. He's gone on just very well with this team from the moment he first drove the car for them in a test session 1 year ago at Portland. That's actually Reynard, as we see Catherine Legg making a scheduled pit stop. She's still running in 15th place, and Will is just getting better and better and better. So he's done a super job this weekend. It's just such a shame for him that his race is going to end early. The only good news for Will Power is that his rival for the Roche fans for Rookie of the Year standings, Dan Clark, is already, I should say, out of the race. The pair separated by just 7 points coming into this weekend, 9 points prior to the race, because Will gained a championship point for being quickest in qualifying on Friday, 1 more point again for doing the same on Saturday, and in fact 1 more again for leading this motor race. So the gap was up to 10 points, I should say, before he came now into the pit lane. And there's some somewhat rudimentary repairs to that car. He's going to see what he can do, but I think there's no doubt he's out of contention for the win. Let's reset the order for you now. So Oriol Servia is now leading the motor race. Charles Wolfsman has just made his second pit stop of the day, so he relinquishes the advantage to Oriol Servia, who of course won the pole here last year for Newman House Racing, his first and only Champ Car pole in his career. Nelson Philippe is in second place. Alex Tagliani for Team Australia is third. He had a great run here 1 year ago, did Alex Tagliani, apart from the fact he took out Will Power on that occasion. But at least he had a fast car and was able to come through and get a good result. He finished in the top 4 1 year ago, did Alex Tagliani, so he's now running in third place. Andrew Ranger has moved himself up to 4th. They're lurking in 5th place is Paul Tracy, who's had, well, kind of a typical PT day, all sorts of incidents. Andreas Wirth has kept his nose clean for Tailcoin Racing, runs in 6th, ahead of Bruno Junqueira. Then Mario Dominguez, Charles Wolfsman rejoins in 9th place, ahead of Sebastian Bourdais. Then Antonio Pizzonia, Jan Halen, Ryan Briscoe, and they, I believe, are the only cars on the lead lap. Maybe not. Maybe Will is still on the lead lap.
I don't think so. I think he may have fallen a lap down already as they're back onto the front straight. Both Oriol Servia and Nelson Philippe on the power to passes. We're back to green. These two have already diced once this race, and they're back at it again on this restart.
22nd low, there is a move that towards the Mario Dominguez looking down the inside there. Right behind Mario is the yellow and orange car of our erstwhile leader Charles Walston. Right behind him with the black and the red car, a new livery there. That is Antonio Pizzonia back with the Rocket Sports team this weekend and carrying new sponsorship on that car from Lexington Energy Services. They've signed on for the last 2 rounds of the season. There's Walsman in the wall.
Charles Walsman has clipped the wall.
Pizzonia's got through, as has Bourdais and Jan Halen.
As will the rest of the field, I imagine.
So an error apparently there for Charles Walsman. Again, Jon Beekes.
And Nelson Philippe, Derek, you mentioned how much of an adrenaline rush he has been on. The team and he just feels they've had an ultra-fast car. They just need a little bit of luck. They're just hoping the luck turns their way. They have very much not adjusted the car throughout the weekend. They've loved it at every stage, just hoping everything turns their way now.
Well, somebody's straight line chicane there. That's the guy. I'm not sure who that was. Ahead of Sebastian Bourdais.
It's not Charles Walsman. It might be Mario Dominguez. As he's locking up the brakes.
Or is it Antonio Pizzonia?
Yeah, it could be actually. Could be Pizzonia based on the colors of the car there. But we're just getting news from race control that car 1 will be given a drive-through penalty for avoidable contact. So Sebastian Bourdais expected to duck into the pits here. Does he pull in? No, he does not come in this lap, but he has been called. He'll have to do it at some point. Oh, I'm sorry, my mistake. He is pulling into pit lane. He's getting his penalty served now. I think a very just penalty. He made a mistake, plain and simple, and he's paying for it now. So Oriol Servia still in the lead of this race. Nelson Philippe is second. Those two were dicing in the beginning of this race, and Nelson was the one who ended up coming out on top. He passed Oriol on track, so now it's down to Nelson to try and get that position back. As I said near the top of the show, he is a hungry young man. He's 20 years old, and he has a very big ambition, very big goal of trying to become the youngest ever winner in Champ Car, a title currently held by Scott Dixon. And I know Scott Dixon was 20 and I think
9 months and 14 days.
There you go.
When he won at Nazareth, Pennsylvania in the year 2001. That course driving for the Pac West Racing Group. And that is a record that Nelson Philippe very much wants to own himself, and he's looking good. He celebrated his 20th birthday, I should say, did Nelson. That was on July 23, so he'd be, 3 months?
It was the Edmonton weekend, I believe, that Nelson had his 20th birthday, and he's come so close a few times this year. He's had 2 podiums, his first 2 podiums in his Champ Car career, one coming at Milwaukee and one just a few rounds ago in Montreal. The young Frenchman has absolutely been one of the stars of the season. Driving for the CT HVM team, has had some really, really impressive runs. Bad luck in Cleveland while leading the race. Bad luck in Road America while running right at the front as well. He's had some opportunities. As we see Paul Tracy look out there.
Trying to get past Alex Tagliani there is Paul Tracy. That is the battle for 3rd and 4th place, isn't it? So Tagliani now under intense pressure from PT. Just again back to Nelson Philippe. There he is running in 2nd place right now. And then you talked about that bad luck he had in Road America last time out. Had a problem with a wheel after a pit stop. Had to make an extra stop, cost him a lot of time. And prior to that race, and he was running there in the top 3 at Road America. Prior to that, he'd had 3 consecutive top 5 finishes. Just doing a stellar job this year for the CTE Racing team of Keith Wiggins. Last year, he was voted by his peers, by his fellow drivers, as the most improved driver 1 year ago. And I fancy he might get that same award this time around as well. He's just done a marvellous job. But Oriol Servia there winning the race. Jon Beekes on the pit lane.
In regards to Sebastian Bourdais, had a quick word with Craig Hampson, his race engineer. Asked him about the incident. He said that Sebastian Bourdais said nothing on the radio, but Craig Hampson said that he was in full agreement with the penalty they were assessed. I think everyone on pit road know that one just got away from Sebastian.
So there you hear it from the pit lane. Your view on that one, James?
It's, he says he just got caught off guard there, but that was a mistake I think that shouldn't have been made. It was, as Derek said, it's as Derek said, it was a mistake too early in the race. It was a really bad point in the race to try and move like that, but he did, and it didn't pay off. As we see now, Nelson Philippe making the move on Oriol Servia for the lead of this race. Oh no! Oh, Servia! Oh God! Servia locked up his brakes, clipped Nelson Philippe. There's no doubt. I don't know. Nelson's carrying on. The front wing doesn't seem to be broken off that car. I find it hard to believe if they both got away with that. Nelson Philippe potentially cut tire, potentially rear suspension damage on that. Oriol Servia now under attack from Alex Tagliani. I can't see any openly apparent wing damage there, and Nelson Philippe seems to be driving away where Oriol seems to be held up a bit, and he's got a queue forming behind him now. So if Nelson got away with that, as we just talk about the bad luck he's been having, something like this happens. We talk about don't touching Will Power and it happens. I say we pick who we want to win and start talking about them, Jeremy.
Yeah, HVM, the CGE racing team, Cedric the Entertainer came on board this team towards the end of last season, and they've just done a fabulous job, a brand new look to the cars this year. That gunmetal livery, the car's really superb. Here's a replay there of Oriol Servia. He misjudges his attempt to regain the lead there from Nelson Philippe, makes contact, pretty hefty contact it looked like, but as you say, he seems to have got away with it. Now, for the fourth time this year, Nelson Philippe finds himself leading a champ car race. He led 7 laps in Cleveland, led 34 laps in Toronto, another 11 in Montreal. He's looking good now. We've got, 24 laps to go, so there will be one more pit stop. But Nelson, hey, hand it to the boy.
Absolutely. That was a brilliant move, and it was almost Toronto in reverse when Nelson and Oriol Servia got together in a brake zone. An errant passing attempt by Nelson ended up running into the back of Oriol, taking both of them out of the race. It looked frighteningly similar, but obviously nowhere near as bad in consequences. Both cars have continued. Nelson has absolutely stormed off into the lead here as Alex Tagliani is using every bit of road there. Oriol obviously slowed up a little bit when that first happened. The queue kind of formed behind him. They seem to spread out a bit now.
Yeah, there's another graphic there. We look at the 15 times we've raced here in Australia, 15 different winners. Are we going to get a 16th this afternoon? Well, we look at the top 3, Nelson Philippe, Oriol Servia and Alex Tagliani. Neither of those 3 have won on this racetrack before. In fact, they only have 2 race wins between them. Here again now, here's Alex Tagliani down to the inside, a clean move into turn 5 there by Alex Tagliani. Super move, perfect, picture perfect pass by Alex Tagliani. He's obviously been told that Will Power is out of the race, and now Tag, hey boy, the pressure is on you. And not only is he trying to win the race for Team Australia, but maybe he's driving for his career here. There's Paul Tracy.
So he gets it all sideways. Oh, nice save by Paul Tracy. He's back on the power. They're going to drag into the next corner. Oh, this is good. This is good stuff. An amazing catch by Paul Tracy. Now right back on the gearbox of Oriol Servia. Bruno Junqueira now looming right behind the two of them.
That's the sort of thing you see at the Terre Haute action track. That was what they call in sprint car racing a slide job. You put your car down the inside, you pitch it sideways, and you try to hang on to it. It's relatively easy on the dirt, it's the way to go in the dirt, but on this sort of racetrack, you've got to be kidding me.
Down the inside, oh, they're making a fight of it, signed, sealed, and delivered. Paul Tracy pulls it off there, this time keeping all wheels pointed in the right direction. That was a gorgeous move, a gorgeous save. That is good racing, Jeremy.
What a fantastic motor race this is turning out to be. We've seen, how many different leaders have we had? I've kind of lost count, to be honest, but now there is Bruno Junqueira. He wants in on the game as well, and does Mario Dominguez. So Oriol Servia, clearly, I don't know, maybe he's damaged his car with that contact with Nelson Philippe. I've got to think so, because he seemed to be running pretty well early on, but now he's struggling. And Alex Tagliani, who was only set the 15th best lap in the race, is now pulling away, and Oriol Servia is falling back. Down to the inside there goes Mario Dominguez.
I think he's just been knocked off his rhythm, Jem. You know, you get one guy past you, it throws you off for one corner, it throws a whole sequence of corners off, and now here we go, Andreas Wirth in the Dale Coyne Racing entry, getting a bit racy heading into this chicane here, can't quite pull it off, not enough of a braking zone there, but Andreas Wirth in his Champ Car debut doing an absolutely phenomenal job. He's running in 7th in the Dale Coyne Racing car. You know, he's only had one day in this car with this team. He's only met them a little while ago, and you know, that's really an inadequate amount of time to accustomize yourself to the car. As we see Bourdais, a replay of him pitting just a few moments ago, he's already back out on track. Red sidewall Bridgestone tires going on? Yeah, red sidewall tires going on there. But Andreas Worth, like I said, doing a phenomenal job with only one day in this car with this team. Just great stuff to see from him.
It certainly is. There's all sorts of excitement in this motor race. We've seen enough action for a whole season in some series, but it's what we come to expect, isn't it, from the Champ Car Series? But this is absolute cracker. There is Bourdais now. He has just set the fastest lap of the race a lap or two ago, a 1:34.066. So he's trying to get that championship bonus point. That is a couple of tenths quicker than anybody else. Nelson Philippe has just turned his best lap so far, a 1:34.3. So just 3/10 of a lap slower. There is our race leader, Nelson Philippe, and look at the gap that he has pulled out over Paul Tracy. He is absolutely flying, Nelson. He's going faster and faster and faster. He's just said, as I said, his best lap of the race, and he's looking to extend that lead over Paul Tracy in second place. And there is Charles Lawson now back in 8th. So we believe this time we're going to go back to green. It will be Antonio Pizzonia for the Rocket Sports racing team, again carrying the new colours of the Lexington Energy Services on that newly liveried black and red car, the number 8E18 car of Rocket Sports Racing. Mario Dominguez is in second place, and there he's using the Cosworth power to pass, and during that caution he was instructed to move ahead of Paul Tracy, or Tracy was instructed to let Mario pass. We don't know what happened there, but presume as he went to the caution that Paul Tracy made a pass on Mario at the wrong time, basically. So Mario Dominguez, he made his final pit stop and he got out there for ahead of Paul Tracy. So Mario is looking here to potentially challenge Nelson Philippe and come away with his second win of his career. His only win previously came, of course, on this very racetrack.
Yeah, all these guys are in a great position right now. Obviously, Antonio Pizzonia, you heard from down in the pit lane, will have to pit again. So essentially, Nelson is leading this race from Mario Dominguez and Paul Tracy. And you can see Nelson and Mario have pulled away from Paul. Mario's looking awfully racy in that Rocket Sports car. Great run from both these guys.
Absolutely. Let me apologise to Mario. He's got 2 wins under his belt. Of course, he won also in Miami in 2003, but that was 41 races ago. Jon Vickers again down in the pit lane.
In regards to Pizzonia, it turns out they wanted to pit him, but there was a miscue on the pits. They did not get the pit board or the radio call out soon enough. They thought the pits were closed. That's why they didn't pit when they had their first opportunity. Then when they felt as though they missed that opportunity, they said, well, we'll just stay in the front and ride it out.
So that's the call from the Rocket Sports Racing team. A miscue there, but Antonio Pizzonia certainly is going to be enjoying leading this motor race. There is the packed crowd on the hill there at the north end of the racetrack. There's a lot of beer flowing in that part of the world, let me tell you. But look at this. Nelson Philippe has a run on Antonio Pizzonia. Is he going to be close enough to make a move down into the first chicane? No, he isn't.
Nelson's got to play it safe. He knows that Antonio's got to pit. This is not essentially for the race win. He is essentially already leading this race. He doesn't need to do anything brash, doesn't need to do anything stupid. He just needs to sit calm, make sure Mario stays behind him, and then he could very well walk away with his very first Champ Car World Series victory, and that would just be an incredible feat for this young 20-year-old. I mean, he's born the same year I am. He's making me look stupid right now. He's out here leading Champ Car races, and what am I doing? I don't know. But
well, I'll tell you what, I mean, when he first moved up into the Champ Car World Series, that was in 2003. I told him then he was making a big mistake. It is Mario Dominguez looking down to the inside. Whoa, dear, there's going to be contact, is there? Amazing. Oh, there isn't. Great driving by those two. Wow. I mean, Nelson Philippe, when he came into the Champ Car World Series, all he had under his belt was 12 Barber Dodge Pro Series races at PT, trying to make him move his shortcuts and chicane, but doesn't gain an advantage. So there will be no penalty there for PT. What a great motor race this is.
This has just been fantastic. That was brilliant driving. Champ Car World Series rules, you cannot block, you cannot deviate from your racing line. Nelson saw Mario had that run, and he just tried his absolute hardest to hold that car around the outside through a left-right chicane. Both guys played nice. They gave each other the room. That was really, really great racing.
I know a lot of the purists don't like this no blocking rule. I think it's fabulous. I've been completely sold on it, and that's coming from somebody who was brought up in Silverstone in the 1970s with some sensational Formula Ford racing where blocking was very much part of the game.
Tony told me, Derek, that what he would do in that incident, if they were close together and a guy shortcut the chicane, he would force force him to give back the time. So Paul Tracy has to lose position no position, but distance, so the gap is the same, so he would have gained no advantage on the racetrack. Looks like Paul has done that, so no harm, no foul now.
Indeed, thanks, John. No harm, no foul for Paul Tracy, so he continues in 4th place. And we're told shortcut reposition, car 3 behind car 15. That's curious. So they're telling Paul Tracy to move behind Alex Tagliani.
That seems really bizarre. I mean, he was certainly much closer to Mario before that shortcut. I don't know why they'd penalize him again by making him fall behind Alex. I wonder if maybe, I don't know, maybe our race control communication system here is malfunctioning, or somebody mistyped something, because that doesn't seem to make any sense to me at all. Paul did not gain an advantage. If anything, he lost time.
Yes, well, I suppose he did get an advantage because he didn't crash. Well, yeah, which is the other alternative at that point. But I mean,
I'm fairly certain race control would approve of that move.
Yeah, I don't understand that call. So we'll try and get clarification on that one. We'll be lucky. But in the meantime, it's still Antonio Pizzoni leading the motor race. Nelson Felipe there in second. Mario Dominguez hot on his tail in 3rd place, and there is Alex Tagliani, now relegated to 5th place, but apparently here he's going to be moved ahead. There is Antonio Pizzoni. So car number 18, he brings that car onto pit lane, and the boys here with just a quick splash of fuel for Antonio, but about 5 seconds worth. It's an age, doesn't it? Seems like. But there goes Pizzoni. He's going to fall to the back of the pack, but at least he was out in the front of a champ car race. Actually, for the second time, he led a couple of laps in Montreal again through pit strategy. Vikas again down to the pit lane.
In regards to that penalty, I talked about Paul Tracy having to give up position and distance. I said, well, it wouldn't be position. Well, they now have determined that if you were in a pack of cars and you shortcut the chicane, you do have to give up position. So now the call is going to come from race control that he will have to let Alex Tagliani go by. Not that Alex Tagliani was close, but they agreed in the drivers' meeting if there was a pack of cars and you shortcut, you would have to give up 1 spot.
Okay, well, I mean, the one thing about Tony Cotman is he's fair. If he talked about it in the drivers' meeting, then fair enough. Here is a replay of Tracy challenging Mario Dominguez there, clearly offline going into the corner, and he did shortcut the course, I suppose. And if the drivers were told and agreed during the meeting that if you shortcut the course, you give up position, but I don't know.
They said in a pack of cars. I saw 2 cars in that shot. That's not a pack. I'm sorry, I disagree with that call. But like you say, Tony Cotman, he's a very fair guy, very straight shooter, and if that's what they said, and the teams agree on it, then fine. Not the call I would have made, but he's the boss, not me. He's done a great job all year. Tons of respect for that man. He's done absolutely nothing but good for this sport. So unfortunately, Paul will have to lose that podium position and in the process a ton of time to both Nelson and Mario in front of him. So it's going to be up to him with only about 5 laps to go by the time he lets Alex by to try and get that position back and salvage a podium position here in Surfers Paradise.
Yeah, indeed. That's a shame for PT, and I think for the race fans here, because you can see Paul Tracy there. He's going as slow as he did. Okay, he's let Alex Tagliani go through, and that's what there goes Bruno Junqueira diving down to the inside of Andrew Ranger. Those two battling for position. Ranger fights back up into turn 4, and there right behind him is Sebastian Bourdais. This is a battle for 5th, 6th, and 7th.
Both Andrew and Bruno are on the Cosworth power to pass right now. There was some great driving there. Andrew high-lowing Bruno after he went a little bit wide on the exit. Great driving, and Sebastian here has got a front row seat to the action. Going to pick up whatever pieces he can. Sebastian right now running in the 7th position. That puts Ranger 5th and Bruno 6th. So, not exactly the position Sebastian wants to be in. He knows he's been crowned champion. He wanted to maybe try and do this on a high note. Hasn't quite gone that way for him today after that run-in with Will Power. But regardless, he's still in a position to maybe get a few more positions before this day is done. We've got 6 laps to go. Nelson Felipe and Mario Dominguez, the 2 men at the front. Certainly 2 drivers that people would not have said at the beginning of the weekend were going to be leading with 5 laps to go. This is coming down to a bit of a barn burner because both cars are very quick and they are very close to one another right now.
It is. You have to take your hats off to the Rocket Sports team. They brought Mario Dominguez in just before that final caution period. A very quick stop, and they got him out still in 2nd place. So great work by that team. Yeah, a little bit of luck, sure, but he's doing the job. Is Mario Dominguez. Let's have a call also for Andrew Ranger. He's still not until the 20th of November will he celebrate his 20th birthday. Andrew Ranger in 5th place. now. Just 5 laps to go on the streets of Surfers Paradise. This is the battle for the lead. Car number 4, Nelson Philippe CTE Racing with HVM in the lead. Second place, Mario Dominguez. Pemex colours on that car, the colours of Mexico, for Rocket Sports Racing. This is Mario, the third team he's driven for this season, Mario Dominguez. He started, of course, with the Forsyth Championship Racing. He then switched across to Dale Coyne once he was given his marching orders after being involved in a couple of first lap incidents with his Forsyth teammate Paul Tracy inside the first 4 events. He then did the next 7 races for Dale Coyne and still kept his way in the championship. He's 4th in the points when he left Forsyth Racing. He was still up challenging for that 4th place when he left Dale Coyne. He's had a couple of disappointing results the last 2 races, has Mario, but now look at him. He's got a bit between his teeth. He's won here in the past under very weird circumstances in that monsoon conditions of 4 years ago. But now Mario Dominguez is doing this on speed. I mean, he's set the 6th fastest lap of the race, just a couple of cents slower than Nelson Philippe, and he's really giving Nelson all he can handle.
He certainly is, and it's like I've said, you do 59 laps of this track and you have to be picture perfect every single one of them. Now with 4 laps to go, these guys are on the absolute edge, fighting for victory. No room for error. The pressure's high and guys are tired, tires are worn out. It's the hardest part of the race to be pressured for the win, especially when Nelson's going for his first one. This is a very big day and a very big battle we're watching right now.
There's been 36 races since CTE Racing won a motor race. That was when Ryan Hunter-Ray at Milwaukee, that's right, in 2004. For the Rocket Sports team, it's been 31 races. Alex Tagliani at Road America in 04. And when we're talking about trying to win your first race in a long time, Will Power led the early stages of this race for Team Australia. For Derek Walker, his last race win was 128 races ago. It was a long time ago, and that was when Gilles de Ferran won at Portland in 1999. It's certainly not going to happen for Derek Walker. Well, we think it's not going to happen for Derek Walker this afternoon, although he is still running in 3rd place with Alex Tagliani as we're on board with Sebastian Bourdais. But Nelson Philippe now, his last lap was a 134.437, just 4/100th of a second slower than his best lap of the race thus far. Mario Dominguez last time around, his best lap, a 134.343. So they're both turning up the wick. These two. This is a battle to the finish. A great race here in Surfers Paradise.
Nelson Philippe out in front. He has 0 time left on his Cosworth power to pass. Mario Dominguez is sitting with 3 seconds, which means he's essentially got 1 use, because once you push it with the power down, even though there's only 3 seconds running on the clock, the power to pass will continue to work until he lets off the throttle. So he gets essentially 1 straightaway, 1 shot to do it. He'll know that Nelson has no power to pass left. He's going to have to be very cautious with it and use it just at the right time. But with only 3 laps to go, he's running out of opportunities.
And Andrew Ranger, with whom we ride on board right now, running in 5th place is Andrew. He has 45 seconds worth left on that car number 27. You can see the blue primarily colours of Walmart there, and Tide and a whole bunch of other associate sponsors. Andrew, he's had a lot of bad luck this season. He started off really on a wing and a prayer. It was a 3-race deal initially, plus the 3 races in Canada. He's managed to translate that into a full season with MyJack Conquest Racing and a team owner Eric Bachelard. But Andrew, the first part of the year, he was driving really looking at his checkbook. He knew he couldn't afford to crash the car, but since then he's really done a nice job. He's qualified among the top 10 in 5 or 6 of the most recent races. He's had several strong runs, but had absolutely 0 luck for the last 3 or 4 races, and that's seen him slip down to 11th place in the points. He was as high as 4th at one stage. But Andrew Ranger is doing an excellent job this afternoon, running in the top 5. But there is Paul Tracy. He's got his sights again now on Alex Tagliani. He had to give up that podium position, did BT, and now it seems he doesn't have anything for Alex Tagliani.
I'm going to be interested to hear Paul Tracy's interview after this race, but right now it is the battle up front we want to pay attention to. Nelson Philippe has bettered his fast lap, a 134.261, the 3rd fastest lap of the race so far. Mario Dominguez with the 4th fastest lap. These two are on par with one another. We have 2 laps to go. This is potentially history being made. Not only will this be Nelson Philippe's first ever Champ Car victory, it will be the youngest. He'll become the youngest first winner of a Champ Car World Series race, and this track will extend its record to 16 consecutive events with a different winner. You can never come to Australia without expecting a phenomenal race as we ride again on board with this very, very cool camera with Andrew Ranger. Just appreciate the bumps and see how much the driver's head gets shook around through here. And this is one of the smoother parts of the racetrack. It's a phenomenal view there, and Andrew doing a phenomenal job.
And how there's absolutely no room for error. Look at this corner, this chicane here. Bang over the curb, bang over the curb, bang over the curb, bang over the curb.
Can you see what's going on?
Chicane at about 120 miles an hour. That is a serious corner, folks.
It's impressive, and you could just really start to appreciate the kind of physical beatings that drivers take in these cars around these road courses. And that steering wheel in his hands is extremely heavy. It's getting heavier with each lap. You know, you get more tired and more tired as we're coming along here. And if I'm not mistaken, to get the white flag for Nelson Philippe, Mario Dominguez was on his Cosworth power to pass. He used it on that run, was obviously not close enough to make a move, but he is right on the gearbox now. Nelson Philippe on the final lap. He can taste it. He is so close, just a few corners left, less than 3 miles to go now.
Both of these guys on the red stripe tyres, the softer option of the two Bridgestone Potenza tyres, and they're both absolutely on the limit. A lap ago, Nelson Philippe turned his best lap of the race, a 1:34.261. Mario Dominguez, last time around, 34.367. Oh, look at that, Mario. He tried to get on the power a little bit too soon, coming off turn 4, and that has cost him quite a bit of time. All Nelson Philippe now has to do is keep it cool, keep it calm, keep it collected. You've got about, 5 or 6 more corners, Nelson, and you will come away with a very well-deserved victory. But you don't take anything for granted on this racetrack here at Surfers Paradise. He's got to be inch perfect now in this final less than a mile to go. Mario Dominguez, he's charging as hard as he can, but he made that one mistake.
We know we are very, very used to seeing a Frenchman winning races in Champ Car, but this is not the one. It's usually Sebastian Bourdais. Today, the torch is being carried by Nelson Philippe. He's coming into the last complex. His brother was my teammate in Atlantic this year. I got a lot of time to spend with him and his family. One of the nicest guys you will ever meet, and he has just taken the checkered flag for his first victory in the Champ Car World Series.
The youngest driver ever to win a Champ Car race, Nelson Philippe. There he goes across the line. What a fabulous job he has done. That will clinch also the Nations Cup Championship for France. Nelson Philippe joining there, Sebastian Bourdais, of course, and it's just look at the jubilation in the CTE racing pit. These guys have done a stellar job. Keith Wiggins, he's marshalled the troops. The new look this year with Cedric the Entertainer. What a character he is. And Nelson Philippe, he's been waiting, what for him seems like a lifetime to do these donuts. In just his how many road races has he done in his career? 48th ever, but 47th ever motor race this is for Nelson Philippe. All but 12 of them in the Champ Car World Series, and it's an absolutely 100% deserved victory. That's Sebastian Bourdais taking to the escape road on the final lap of the race, down at turn 8.
A series of uncharacteristic mistakes from Sebastian today, but his fellow countrymen absolutely inch perfect for 59 laps. I can't even tell you how excited I am. This is just unbelievable. Like I said, Nelson is one of the most genuinely nice guys you will ever meet, especially in this sport, and I just couldn't be happier for him.
Yeah, the whole family. I mean, his brother Richard, he's coming up through the ranks as well. He was the Formula BMW champion last year. This year, he was your teammate in Forsyth Championship Racing in the Atlantic Series. And young Richard's got a lot of talent as well. But this young man, he works so hard, Nelson Philippe. He really takes his series. He takes everything to heart. He's a real student of the sport, like yourself, James Hinchcliffe. But he really takes everything seriously. And this afternoon, it's all come right for Nelson Philippe. He was looking good for a podium last time out. It didn't happen. This time it does. Wow, what can you say? I mean, he's going to be very, very emotional young man when he gets out of that motor race car. But I don't know, he's a relatively cool, calm, collective character as well. I can't wait to see him when he hops out of the car, assuming he gets it back to the position, run out of fuel. I think
he's doing a burnout. He wants to show off for the fans a bit.
Everybody out of the way there. Look at this again, a capacity crowd once again here in Surfers Paradise. And boy, James, they had a motor race to watch this afternoon.
This, I think, easily tops, easily up there as one of the best races races that Champ Car has had this year, absolutely phenomenal, and history being made with Sébastien Bourdais taking his 3rd consecutive title, with Nelson Philippe becoming the youngest winner, 16 consecutive different race winners at this track. It's just been a remarkable day. I feel privileged to have been here to share it with you, Jeremy.
Well, yeah, it has been a great honour this afternoon. We've had a lot of fun. For this man, Sébastien Bourdais, an inglorious day on which he clinches his 3rd consecutive Vanderbilt Cup title, becomes the first man, and we talked about it over and over again, but he really can't be understated. The first man in almost 60 years, only the 2nd guy in Champ Car history, and that stems back all the way back to the very early 1900s to win 3 consecutive titles. It's not been a good day for him on the racetrack. He's made several mistakes, including another on the very final lap of the race, and he took out the local hero Will Power. But at the end of the day, at the end of the season, you can't say anything but the fact that Sébastien Bourdais and Newman Haas Racing has deserved this championship.
He's a champion for a reason, 3 times over for a reason. He is normally the guy that is inch perfect, race in and race out, lap in and lap out, practice, qualifying, everything. Sébastien is always a force to be reckoned with. He is so precise, he's so calculated, he does everything he needs to do to win races, and he knows exactly what he has to do to win championships, as Nelson Philippe continues the donut making on the track here at Surfers Paradise.
He's going to make sure he has every single corner covered. I think he loves Australia. He said coming into this weekend, this is his favourite. He's going to do another lap, I think, is Nelson. He's not done yet. We will applaud our champion. This is he's the 5th driver to win a championship for Newman Haas Racing. However, it is the team's 7th championship. Mario Andretti, who won the first title for Newman Haas Racing, that was in the team's just 2nd year in 1984. Michael Andretti, Mario son, of course, won in 91. Then Nigel Mansell, and then Cristiano De Mata in 2002. And now Bourdais. 3 in a row.
Here, boys.
Lee Diffie.
And the Newman Haas boys, they are delighted. Sébastien, congratulations, your 3rd consecutive title. When you entered Champ Car, did you ever think you would have this much success?
No, I don't think you can ever believe that kind of things, but sorry for you. Wish we would have done that on the track. And it's just a shame that we finished on about one of the worst days of my career in Champ Car, I guess. Everything went bad. Just at the beginning, we were having to be a little conservative because really wanted to finish the race, and Tracy was springing behind us, and it was looking pretty good. We were saving a lot of fuel, and I think we would have made it one lap further, but everything went wrong from there on.
I'm sure that you're aware of this statistic, that you're only the 2nd man in the history of Champ Car to win 3 consecutive titles. After F3000, I know you wanted to go to F1, but this series sure has been kind to you.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun and very rewarding for the whole Magnus team.
Congratulations again.
Thanks.
So thanks, Lee.
Alex Tagliani, congratulations on 3rd place today. Very, very strange race. A lot of people fell out of the race today.
Yeah, I have mixed feelings because I saw what happened with Will, and I know how it is to drop out of your hometown race when you've been very competitive. It happened to me in Montreal in 03. So I'm very happy. It's my 2nd hometown race in Australia. I'm very happy for the team and all the sponsors that were here. It's a huge event for our team. So just a podium, after 2 years of running with this team, it's a good result for us.
Oh, good results also here. Craig Gore here beside us. A good day really for Team Australia, other than Will's disappointment.
Yeah, for sure. When you're in your hometown race, and for Will, it must have been really a heartbreaker. I've been through it in Montreal, and I tell you, it took me a long time to get over with it. And I had really a pinch in my heart when I saw his car broken on the side. And but I'm happy that we are on the podium, because it was important for all the sponsors, important for the team. They spent a lot of time for this particular race. So after all the real disappointment in qualifying, coming back with a podium during the race, I think it's pretty good.
Thanks, Alex.
Thank you.
Lee?
Mario Dominguez, what a wild run, and you almost got there.
I know, it was very close, but I'm very happy with 2nd place. It's been the toughest year in my life. My 2nd race with Rocket Sports Racing, and the whole crew, everybody deserved it, including me, I have to say. And getting on the podium in Australia, I'm very happy.
At what stage did you think you could get Philippe?
Well, at one stage I went side by side with him into the corner, but I wasn't able to pass him. And then in the end, I was just hoping he would make a small mistake, but he didn't do it. And I was just trying as hard to put pressure on him, but he would make mistakes, and we couldn't get him. But like I said, with the toughest year of my life, I'm very happy with the podium today, with everything that's been going on.
Well done, Mario Dominguez. Daryl?
Well, Nelson Philippe, congratulations. 16 years, 16 different winners in Australia, and I know your family here and your brother today. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. It's I wanted to keep the tradition alive. What can I say? No, I mean, overall, amazing day. Absolutely fabulous. The guys did an awesome job. Great pit stops. Kept it off the wall. Didn't do too many lockups. Just brought it home. And I mean, we had a fast race car. I knew it all weekend, and it's just so amazing to have a win finally.
Well, it looks like it's been a fantastic week for you. You really enjoyed your time in Australia.
I mean, it's great. I enjoyed all the outdoor activities, everything outside of racing. Now I get to win in Australia. I mean, it's absolutely fabulous. And the most beautiful girl, the Miss Indy, gets to give me my trophy, so I couldn't be happier.
We'll go and enjoy it tonight.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thanks, Daryl Beattie there with our race winner, Nelson Philippe. We saw him a quick shake of the hand there from his father, Thierry. Mom, Natalie, is there. Youngest brother, Wilson, is there as well. There's Roberto Moreno. Everybody is absolutely thrilled for this guy. He puts his heart and soul into his motor racing, and he's done a fantastic job for the team this afternoon.